Good morning, Harris Academy. My name is Mr. Doherty and I'm joined by my co-presenter,
Mr. Rickenberg.
and we are here for our weekly ramble of jogging around the world. Good morning to you, sir. How are you today?
Good. Yeah, I'm good. It's been, I feel like every single podcast starts with me saying the exact same thing. Last day of term, sir. I'll just leave it at that.
Last day of half term.
Yeah.
We've
What term?
Yeah.
We're just sort of reflecting on what we've had this term. The trips obviously played a major part of it, and the reason why we're so tired and I'm so ratty. But yeah, it's played.
Would you say it's gone quick?
Yeah, I would actually. Really quick.
It's gone quick. It's been a slog.
Yeah, I do feel like I haven't got enough time to get all the stuff done before half term, but it's alright because I emailed the Federation and said I'll do some work when I'm in Poland.
So you've got your outlook that works abroad sorted, yeah?
On the Wi-Fi and stuff. Right, how are you, sir?
I'm alright, I'm pretty much the same as you. Tired. Looking forward to 25 past 2 when I finish that gate duty.
Yeah.
Straight out of here, engine will be running.
Where are you going over half term? Ireland.
I'm flying to Derry, fly to Derry on Sunday morning with my brother. Just me and my brother as well, which would be nice. It's nice to go over to Ireland for something positive, and just hang out and see some family, eat lots of food, get looked after. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. What about you, and where are you off to? I'm
going to Gdansk in Poland.
That'd be cool.
So yeah, going for a nice city break. Me and my girlfriend Amy like going on these little city breaks.
You definitely do, yeah.
She looks for them and then I have to pay for them. But yeah, so it's going to be really good. Looking forward to it. I like jetting off to a place I've never been before. She says Poland's wicked. So
it's going to be cool. I reckon you'll really like it. And I think I'm really interested to see what you eat.
Yeah, there's something that they eat there. It's like a little dumpling thing. I can't remember what they're called now. They're famous.
They boil dumplings. Yeah, and then like it would just be
like pierogies or something like that. It's
right.
Like
I reckon it'd be like stew type stuff. It'd be really tasty.
Right.
Okay, cool.
What's in our cup, sir?
Well, do you know what? I'm back on the milk.
You are, aren't you?
Yeah, I am back.
You did the stretch. I wouldn't say your diet's done, but you did a good stretch.
Yeah, I've crumbled a little bit this week. I had another lasagna for 2 by myself the other night, which Geogin wasn't impressed with the fact that I was having white carbs and I just didn't have a choice. It was lovely as well. And then last night I had an oven cottage pie just because I was just so late home. It's just I haven't cooked anything. So yeah, I have to start fresh after half term because I'm telling you now, these next 2 weeks I'll eat whatever I want.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll start again for November.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what are we drinking? We are drinking 2 scoops of, we're back on the Azira now.
Yeah.
Not Kenko Gold because I had to get it from Tesco.
I told you that stuff's top quality, it's top shelf that.
Do you know what? I think the Kenko is nicer. Yeah. But so we're on 2 scoops of Azira. I've got milk, no sugar though. I almost put sugar in it, but I didn't bother. Yeah. When you've got the same as me, but with sugar.
Yeah, with sugar, yeah.
In that cup that's just the only way I can describe it.
It's white now, isn't it? Yeah.
Right.
Right, shout outs.
Oh wait, hold on, we have to explain. We're missing Ava.
Yeah, we're Ava-less this morning.
We're absolutely Ava-less. Should we tell them why?
I think you'll find it funny.
So Ava's mother, Miss Thomas, has just called to say that as she left the house, she shut the door and forgot to bring her car keys with her and has locked herself out. Yeah. So Miss Thomas Senior has had to jump in the car and drive and pick them up so they can get in the house. So it's been a bit of a nightmare for the Thomas family this morning. So that is why we have not said good morning to Ava. That is why we are missing our producer, and that is why we all look a little bit dishevelled.
Yeah,
we're lost without Ava, I think.
Yeah, and what is exciting next time? We're on the phone today. It would have been interesting how it works today, but now we've got more time to practice. We're going to look so much better next time.
Is that even possible?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
We've got a proper camera up, folks.
Proper camera.
So I
think that's a shout out to Hatch for backing us, I think. Big shout out to the school for backing us.
We've got a proper camera coming our way.
Yeah.
I can't wait. It's got a little fluffy microphone
on it as well, yeah.
Just like one of trolls.
I reckon we can get funding to build our studio, even if it's in that cupboard.
Well, egg boxes all over it. Yeah, so no, we're looking good. Right, so we've done what we're drinking. Shout outs.
First one, again, I think goes to Hatch.
Why?
Because we're number 1, so.
Number 1 in the Federation.
With an overall progress of 1.08, I think it was.
Wow. So for a bit of context, on Friday, all the students will know, you parents who listen as well, we know you had inset day on Friday. We went to the XL, which is just, that place never ceases to amaze me. It is mind-blowingly big.
So that walk from one end to the other.
It's huge.
That 50 feels like it takes about 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's so big, and it's So we went to the XL for our annual Harris Federation conference. And what they do is they rank the schools from bottom to top.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there, top 10.
My arms were sweating.
Off they go, reeling off the top 10. And it was the top 5. Then they did the top 3, and then, or top 2. Sorry, 3, and then it went 3rd, 2nd, and then bang, on comes the screen. Harris Academy.
We should have put it up there.
Oh, good on actually.
Yeah, number one.
We had our GCSE results last year. So that's a shout out to our kids from last year. We were the best in the whole Fed for Progress. Unreal. What an achievement.
We got a lovely award at the end.
Mr. Maxted had to get up and get his award, didn't he?
Brilliant moment, that.
Really, because we never win anything.
No.
We are forgotten by the Fed.
I feel like the way he went up.
I mean that, Federation, I'm sorry, but we
just
are.
lift it up like that and just went like that. It was like, yeah, we know.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, it was amazing.
And yeah, it was nice to see Mr. Max go up and get the recognition he deserved as well.
He deserves, yeah, I think we've done so well. I'm so proud of us. What an achievement.
Yeah.
So that was it. Great.
Yeah.
Oh wait, hold on. And we're also in the top 2% of the entire country.
Yeah.
And that includes all the private schools, everything. So
we beat some private schools as well.
Yeah.
Second shout out to year 10. She did go to the dark side and go to history. Indy. Ooh. Because she's I'm going to take that back and apologise. She could put me on the floor very, very easily.
You'll regret that.
Yeah.
Why would you regret it?
She's representing the GB. I think she's European champion, but she's representing GB at an event in jiu-jitsu. She's like British champion.
Amazing.
And then when you see her, the first word that doesn't come out of my mouth is you do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, martial arts expert.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm not messing with her ever again. Just shirts untucked, I'll say, well done, have a shirt.
yeah. You can call out all you want, indeed. No,
I like your individuality.
Massive shout out, because that's wicked. That's really good. When I got the email, I was well impressed.
Yeah.
Okay, any more shout outs?
Yeah, this is one that's been requested. And it's it's Harvey in year 10.
Harvey patient.
Yeah.
Do you know what? He can have it though, because if our year 10s, and the reason being is they're going to intervention already. GCSE intervention.
I think shout out science as well.
Already. Yeah, science, fair play to science. So, yeah, Harvey patient, you wanted to shout out. I think you deserved it.
Because he turned up to football in the morning, and I've never seen someone who's less of a morning person than Harvey. It's unbelievable.
He actually doesn't speak to you.
He looks, he's got eyes like that.
You're like, morning Harvey, you went. It's funny. Yeah. Right, so there's your shout out anyway, Harvey.
Right, so that's the shout out's done. I do want to shout out a podcast, actually, a different podcast. This is a bit of left field, right? But they're getting a lot more views now.
This is written down, is it?
No, I only started listening to it earlier in the week. I think it was Monday. It's like a teacher podcast. We've got any teachers listening to this podcast. It's a podcast called Eat, Teach, Repeat.
Right.
It's two guys who are just talking about the education system rather than talking about like what they've done. Right, and there was one story that he told that I'll repeat. Was like the madness of teaching is like this, right? It was like, I'm teaching, I'm really in the flow of this lesson, year 3s, I think it is, and then one kid puts his hand up. And you're like, this is a kid that like really asks really good questions, right? And he put his hand up and he goes, yeah, and he goes, can I sing the Match of the Day theme tune for the class, please? And the teacher was like, yeah, you can, yeah, and he got up and sang the Match of the Day theme tune for everyone, and then he said everyone after him went. And then just look back at the board and ready to crack on again. It's just stories like that which I think are good. It's a good podcast if you want to reflect on teaching and stuff as well. So just what's it called? Eat, Teach, Repeat.
Nice, right.
So it's good.
That is your shout out. Okay, what are we talking about today?
We're going year 8s, second year 8s.
Do you know what? I think we've done well going Key Stage 3 for a while because it's important that they get some content.
2 podcasts in a row when we're doing like the case study, isn't it? So we're talking about Cairo today. So I've never been to Cairo.
No, do you know what? A friend of mine, really good friend of mine, I saw him last Christmas. We hadn't seen each other for ages, and he is I think he works in building trade, but I think predominantly like carpenter. And I was like, where are you working at the minute? Because he always works abroad and stuff, so he was working like Kenya for 3 months. He was like, I'm living in Cairo.
Oh.
I was like, wow, what's that like? He was like, it's the maddest place.
Yeah.
He was like, I love it. But he was like, but it looks
like chaos.
Absolute chaos,
yeah. So Cairo is Africa's biggest megacity.
Yep.
It's got a population in the city centre, like we say, the city of London. Population city centre around 9 million, but the areas around it is 21 million people. Right. Now, I was thinking about this question yesterday, and it's not one we've sort of not one we've really asked. But What is it about Cairo's location which means loads of people move there in the first place?
It's situated on the River Nile.
River Nile. And if you look at the population distribution around Egypt, all of it is around the River Nile. It's madness. Either coastal or around the River Nile, because the rest of it's obviously just desert.
Yeah.
Yeah. So loads and loads of people have moved to Cairo. What is its main problem?
Its main problem at the minute is overpopulation.
Overpopulation. So if we talk about some of the impacts of overpopulation, what the video that we watch every year, I keep thinking, oh, it's that video again, but then the video is really good.
Yeah.
Right. So what problems do Cairo face with overpopulation?
So we've got huge amounts of congestion.
Yeah.
A strain on services and a housing shortage.
Housing shortage. So the one that I find interesting with the housing shortage is where the homeless people live.
Yeah. So the two main problems, are we focusing on those two main? Because I said about strain on services, but
yeah, I think if we just do the congestion and then homelessness or housing provision.
Housing problem. So yeah.
Yeah. So congestion. If you try and squeeze 21 million people into a place that is sort of rapidly developing by sort of Western standards, everyone gets a car, and because there wasn't a metro, before we get onto that as a response, there wasn't a metro, so as a result of that, pandemonium.
Yeah.
I can only imagine that was awful. So if we're talking about what the impacts of that, pollution, major impact is pollution, and then on top of that we got potentially illnesses, people getting ill as a result, people late for work, that sort of stuff, so not ideal there. What's happening with the housing shortage? So where are people going?
So what do you mean? What's happening as a response to it, or
so
just
like
the issue?
The thing that I've
Rooftops. They're moving to apartment rooftops, which is also prone to earthquakes.
Yeah, prone to earthquakes, and also because of how poorly built some of the buildings are in Cairo, they're really struggling. I think wasn't there like a limit on how many stories a building could be or something, 6 stories.
But they're not adhering to that.
No, so people are living on top of the buildings, whereas normally that's to try and protect like the cityscape. So like you want to see like the beauty of the city, and if you start building all these high rises, maybe it won't turn out into that. But because of that, the only way Cairo can grow is outwards, and you still keep the problem of the overpopulation as well.
Yeah.
Right. So Cairo's two main problems: congestion, housing shortages, and as a result of that, homelessness. I think when I googled it, one of the students asked me how many people are homeless in Cairo. It's over 1 million.
Wow.
So that's obviously a vast amount of people, and they've got to go somewhere. So they've chosen rooftops.
Rooftops. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. The
See
main
photos of it, it's mad.
Yeah, the main thing we look at when it comes to Cairo is the responses to it.
Yeah.
Because the responses are very interesting. So, what are the two main responses?
So they built a new metro system.
Yeah, based off the Paris metro.
Yeah. So an underground metro system.
You want to go into
goes overground as well.
If you want to go into the positives and negatives of that.
Yeah. So positive of the metro system is it eases congestion on the roads, allows people to get around the city quicker.
Yeah.
And also then it provides jobs for people and stuff. Because you've got to build it, maintain it, people got to work it. So it reduces the amount of cars on the road, which eases congestion, which can then also lower pollution rates. It allows people to travel around the city faster, get to work on time, reduces those social impacts of being stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
And then thirdly, it provides jobs. It needs to be built, maintained.
Yeah. And I think that's good. So they built 3 metro lines, just the 3 for 21 million people.
Yeah,
that's
so they've got to start somewhere.
But the problems with that sounds good on the first basis, but 1 billion people use that metro every single year. 1 billion. In London, every day 1 million people use the tube. Right, so if you average that out, if it's every single day, that's only 365 million people using the tube on average every single day, right? Or every single year. So it doesn't even come close. And that's 3 lines, right? So if you start getting frustrated with the trains, you start getting frustrated with the tube, what are you going to do instead?
You have to start thinking of another option.
The other option is driving. Right. So 1 billion people use it every single year. As a result of that, people are starting to go onto the roads. But also when people see, oh, Cairo's got this lovely new metro system, people who live somewhere else will go, oh, so it must be quite easy to get around there. I know what I'll do. I'll move to Cairo, right? So what's happened is the idea was meant to reduce congestion and reduce the impacts of overpopulation. It has, if you say 1 billion people use it every year, so clearly it's efficient that way. But more people have come to Cairo. because of the ease of transportation around it. So it's
actually
shot itself in the foot a little bit.
Yeah, by improving the congestion, giving people a way to get around, has attracted more people to their city, resulting in more people living there.
Absolutely. What's the other solution?
The other solution is build a new capital city.
Yeah, this is quite controversial. I don't know if it's got a name yet. So Egypt, new capital. Be interesting if it has got a name. No, it's still called the new administrative capital.
Great name. That.
So Egypt's new capital. It's an idea where they're going to build a brand new capital city. I think it's just to the east of it, right? It is. It's to the east of Cairo. And the idea here is to try and allow and build a city that can hold a population of 6.5 million people. Right?
6.5 million.
6.5 million people. So the idea is that people can then move from Cairo to this new capital city and then ease the issues in Cairo. The other thing is, when you put a load of young, clever people in a city and the government does something you don't like, the government are very close to those people. So what they've done is they've built this new capital city, and that's going to be the new home of the government. Right. So if anything does kick off, the government are far away. Right.
Interesting.
So that's one of the reasons why they also did it. Now, the new capital city seems like a good idea, but unless there's incentives for you to go there, you're going to stay in Cairo, because Cairo is where it's at. Right.
Yeah.
So one of the issues that we have with this is that the average house price is going to be $50,000.
Right. What's the average GDP of?
The average wage of someone in Cairo is 3,000.
3,000. Yes, it is just unaffordable housing.
Unaffordable housing. So if you wanted to save there and you was on $3,000 a year, you have to save for 16 years without spending a penny.
So it's just not attainable, is it?
It's not attainable at all. So that's probably the main issue with it, and the fact that I haven't heard anything of it. So I know it takes a little while to build a city, sort of thing, but most of it is still under construction. So it's meant to be done I don't even know when it's meant to be completed. So they're trying to make a new world's tallest building that's meant to be completed in 2030.
It's just not, and even though I've never been to Cairo, but it's just not going to have the same vibe, is it?
No.
I reckon, weren't people saying that there wasn't enough shops nearby?
Yeah.
Transport links aren't good enough.
No, so people just won't want to.
And if there isn't the excellent transport links that you need, how are you going to get in and out?
You can drive.
You're going to drive, which
Absolutely.
adds to the problem.
Yeah, so it's still more. I think it's more maybe of an idea than anything else. It's getting built, right? But whether it works or not is going to be interesting.
So it's definitely one to keep an eye on. So let's have a quick recap then. So the issues that they're facing, the main issue they're facing is overpopulation, which results in congestion.
Yeah.
Right. So in order to ease that, they have built the 3 metro lines based on the Paris Metro, and they have started to build a new capital city.
Yes. So the new capital city also helps with potentially the homelessness problem or the housing availability problem, because you're trying to get 6.5 million people to move to this new capital city, but by the looks of it, the new capital city is probably aimed at a certain demographic and a certain type of person, right? So whether everyone wants to go there or not is obviously yet to be decided. So we'll see how it goes. It's a case study where we're always sort of saying this is happening, but we haven't really seen the definitive impacts of it. So we shall see, but that's all they have to do. So the idea of this is in their assessments, they can get a question along the lines of evaluate the responses or the success of overpopulation or responses to overpopulation. So that is
in a mega city you've studied, and the mega city you've studied, G8, is Cairo.
Cairo, absolutely. So yeah, and it literally says here the government states that the undertaking of the project is to relieve congestion in Cairo. So that's literally it.
That really is right. Excellent.
Right, Cairo boxed off. So
what's next?
The news.
Oh, should we start with the negative news?
Yeah. So I feel like people of maybe this generation slightly before mine or after mine will probably be hit really hard by this, because I know when I was in sort of secondary school, this band was very, very big, and it was a big you could argue it's a big cultural moment in the UK. These guys.
It was massive, because I think we hadn't had a successful boy band like that.
No, not since a Westlife or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
You know, like,
so we are unfortunately talking about the passing of Liam Payne
from One Direction.
from One Direction. Yeah. So I don't think we really need to get to the ins and outs of what happened to him. The news that we've had so far is that he fell off a balcony, right? So he fell off a 3rd-story balcony in Argentina, and yeah, it's just, I think we need to reflect on the responses to this, because I think one of the first things that came out was a news company posted a picture of his body, right? So it's just, I think it's just also a message out there to people who are on social media. There's some stuff on social media that people shouldn't be seeing, and things on social media that people shouldn't be doing. I don't want to go down the route of it's somebody's son, it's somebody's sort of dad sort of thing, but I think the message is here, and we have just got to be slightly respectful, I think, because it is a big social moment. He's only 31 years old.
He's pretty famous.
He's got a 7-year-old son, right? So there's that part of it. But yeah, it's a big shame, and yeah, sort of hearts go out
to everyone affected by it.
But again, it's a big event, and people talk about it. So just be careful with what you are saying.
As usual, that seems to be a current theme when we talk about that. Okay, what else have we got to talk about in the news?
Missed it because of everything, but we haven't talked about Hurricane Milton.
Oh yeah, so that is why we didn't do last week's podcast, because we physically couldn't do it.
Yeah.
We were not here. So Hurricane Milton.
So Hurricane Milton, really, it sounded like it was going to be one of the worst hurricanes that Florida had ever seen, right? So it is. So it says here, Hurricane Milton, which hit last week, was an extremely powerful and devastating tropical cyclone which became the 2nd most intense Atlantic hurricane ever recorded over the Gulf of Mexico, behind only Hurricane Rita in 2005, right? So it was the 13th named storm, the 9th hurricane, the 4th major hurricane, and the 2nd Category 5 hurricane of this year, right? So
now, is that a lot?
I don't know what the most has it ever been, but what was mad was the tornadoes and stuff that formed before it. Like the videos were crazy, but also a lot of people.
Tornadoes are so rare. I didn't like
that part of the world. They're very
rare. And just even like how many of them actually become tornadoes is pretty rare. But there was loads of them, wasn't there?
Yeah. So it was it says here it's the 5th most. It's the 5th most intense hurricane ever. More intense than Katrina. It's there's some big hurricanes that it's beat. No. Not today. Dylan, not today. No, not today. Go. Right. So Hurricane Milton. So we had that. So it's a big hurricane. Impact so far is that 27 people died. So missing, we've still got 6 people missing. The highest winds were 180 miles an hour. Right. It's like me on the M25, absolutely flying down the M25 on a Friday.
To the floor, 17 no more.
And the damage is $30 billion.
Wow,
right, so the areas affected were Mexico and Florida did take a beating, but what was quite beneficial was that it did quite seriously die down really just before it made landfall.
Yeah.
So the damage could have been much more significant, but luckily it wasn't.
No. 21 people dying, still a lot, isn't it? Especially for an AC country.
So I think it was by the time it made landfall, it was a Category 3 hurricane.
Right.
So it's the 9th most costly hurricane.
But yeah, the footage of it, pictures of it, the images from space, crazy. So big.
So big. Yeah. Right. Fact.
What have we got?
Oh, I had a good fact a second ago. I've got rid of it.
As you could walk.
Right. I've got a question for you. It's going to be a fact, right? What is France's what country has the largest border with France?
I don't know. I was going to say, the next one to say Spain, but I feel that's a trick question. Portugal.
Brazil.
How?
Overseas territories. Right?
It was so annoying.
Because of over there, it's actual large. It's cool though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So because of its overseas territories, the largest land border that France shares with any country in the world is Brazil.
Interesting. Say that again.
So France's largest border is with Brazil.
That's a proper trick question.
It's brilliant.
Like it. That's a good one.
Right. What's it looking like? It looked moody outside.
What, that fog this morning? I couldn't see properly.
Let's go metal bits, right? So, not a weather forecaster, but we do like to keep our listeners informed
Of what they're faced with over the weekend.
So, don't look great, must admit, right? Where we're going, it might actually be a bit better, right? So, what was interesting this morning, it was very foggy, you looked up, could see the moon.
Yeah.
Right, so that's how we know it's very, very low lying. And any trick with fog is if you look up and you can see the sky, then it's not going to last all day.
Right.
If you look up and you can't see the sky, then it's probably going to stick around, right? So this weekend, got a yellow warning for fog. But this week, it's 17 degrees today, 17 degrees and sunny tomorrow, but raining in the morning. And yeah, for half term, it's not looking too bad. Might get a bit more autumnal, but it's not looking too bad.
It's warm out there, and
yeah, it's not good enough.
Yesterday in the AstroTurf was not pleasant.
Gnats and everything.
Gnats everywhere, it was muggy, wasn't very nice. Right, I think that was right, all things considered, sir.
Last one for half term.
Yeah, so thank you very much to our listeners. We hope you have a wonderful half term.
I think we're going to reach new heights soon. Mr. Maps promised us that we're going to reach new heights.
He's promised us, we need to look at potential
TikTok
social media account.
We've got to see that. Because if we get the rules out, then the world sees how funny we are. And then
that could be it.
We're live at the Apollo after, aren't we?
Okay. We hadn't noticed it. Right, okay, thank you very much. Have a wonderful half term, sir.
You too, enjoy yourself.
Will do.
Turn it off.
No,
not today.
not today, Dylan.
What was that? 28.